Hey gamers, today I want to talk about Cult of the New. You know what this is. You get a new board game in, you're playing it all the time, you love it, you make it your number one game, which I've seen so many people do. They rank these new games up really high, and then the next year, and they just fall off the chart. Or, they're way lower because you're not playing anymore. And I get that. I get that because you got this new game in, it's all new to you, you're excited to play it, and you do play the new games more. That's what I call the sophomore slump on my top 100 when I do it, because the second year on my list, it usually drops. And I got irritated with that. I was like, you know what? I need to rank games more conservatively. So I've been ranking all my new games a lot lower than what I would usually rank a game, because I want to make sure, would this game rise? And if the game rises, then it's worth it. If I was playing it as much the next year, then it's definitely a good game. If not, then it was a flash in the pan Cult of the New, and I didn't fall for it this time. Even though I rank games conservatively, they still drop. They still drop. And that's just how Cult of the New works. And I had my own little self-imposed rule that I will never rank a new game number one. And I regret that. The first time I played Time Stories, I was blown away. To this day, it is one of the greatest board game experiences I have ever had. Those are memories. They're in the Hall of Fame for me. And that year, when it was on my list, I wanted to rank it number one. I wanted it to be number one, but I said, nope, that's against the rule. It's number two. And there's no way that game would have been number two. It should have been number one. It should have beat out my favorite game of all time that year, Twilight Imperium. Even though I love Twilight Imperium, the best experience I had that year was the first time I played through Time Stories. Now it's still my whatever, top 10, top 20, whatever, because I've played it again with a new crew, and I've created new memories. They're good, not as good as the first time around, but they're still good, and it's still a game I love. But sadly, it'll never get a number one spot again. Even if at this point, I think they're done doing expansions. I think they're just done with the game overall. I've heard nothing. Cavendish came out last year with a pop and a sizzle, and no one's talking about making more games since. So sadly, I think the story's done. But if it were to finish and I were to play it through, maybe. Would it capture that very first experience where I played all 9 stories of the White Cycle and everything and went on to play Blue Cycle? No, it won't capture that one. It should have probably been number one. So in a way, Cult of the New, it can be a good thing and a bad thing, right? Because like I said, Time Stories had its moment to be my number one game, and I didn't give it that opportunity. But let me know. Is something Cult of the New you try to shy away from, or do you go ahead and embrace it and realizing that next year that game may not rank so high on your list? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.